You're watching because you need a laptop that just works, no crazy benchmarks, no endless driver hunts, just something reliable you can open every morning, type a few emails, hop on a Zoom, and feel good about the money you spent. The fear most of us have when a laptop suddenly dies is that the fix will end up costing more than a brand new machine, or that you'll end up with a part that never really fits. That's the exact spot I was in last month, and I spent a solid day digging through Lenovo forums, tech support threads, and a handful of user videos before I finally decided whether this specific replacement CPU was worth my time. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First off, this isn't a brand new processor you'd slap into a fresh out-of-the-box laptop. It's the FRU 01EN246, a genuine Lenovo part that's meant to replace a failing Intel Core i3-7100U in certain ThinkPad and IdeaPad models. The i3-7100U is a Kaby Lake chip that runs at 2.4 GHz with a 3W TDP. In plain English, that means it's designed for low-power notebooks and can keep the fan whisper quiet while you're doing everyday tasks. If your machine was originally shipped with that chip, this part is a drop-in replacement, no BIOS flashing, no custom firmware, just a swap of the old die for a fresh one. Why does that matter? Because the biggest headache when a laptop dies is discovering that the motherboard or the CPU is the culprit, and then realizing you need a whole new system. For many business users and students, the laptop's chassis, screen, keyboard, and even the warranty sticker are still in great shape. Replacing just the CPU can bring that machine back to life for another 2 to 3 years, and the cost is a fraction of buying a new laptop, typically under $80 for the part itself plus a modest service fee if you're not comfortable opening the chassis. Who should actually consider this upgrade? If you own a Lenovo ThinkPad X260, T460, or an IdeaPad 330 that originally shipped with the i3-7100U, and the laptop is otherwise solid, this is a solid lifeline. I talked to a few small office IT admins who keep a fleet of these machines for light data entry. They told me that swapping the old, overheated chip for a fresh one cut the throttling issues in half and extended battery life by a few minutes per charge, enough to finish a meeting without scrambling for an outlet. It's also a decent option for a student who needs a reliable notebook for research, paper writing, and streaming lectures, but who doesn't need to render 4K video or run the latest games. On the flip side, skip it if you're hoping this will magically turn your aging laptop into a performance powerhouse. The i3-7100U is a dual-core, 4-thread chip, and while it handles web browsing, office apps, and even a light Photoshop edit without breaking a sweat, it will choke on anything that leans heavily on GPU acceleration or sustained multi-threaded workloads. If you're a developer who compiles large codebases daily, a video editor, or a gamer, you'll feel the same limits you had before the swap. In those cases, the smarter move is to invest in a newer laptop that ships with at least an i5 or i7 from the 10th gen onward. Now let's talk practical strengths. The biggest win here is compatibility. Because this is a Lenovo branded FRU, field replaceable unit, the part is tested against the exact motherboard revisions it's meant for. I watched a step-by-step video where the technician used a plastic spudger to lift the heatsink, unplug the old processor, and slot the new one in without any need for thermal paste reapplication. Lenovo even ships a small tube of paste with the part. That ease of installation cuts down on the risk of static damage, which is a common fear for DIY repairs. Another plus is power efficiency. The 3W TDP keeps heat low, so you won't notice the fan ramping up like you might with a higher power chip that the chassis wasn't designed to cool. Weaknesses are mostly about the limits inherent to the chip itself. The i3-7100U caps at 2.4 GHz and has no turbo boost, so you won't see any sudden speed spikes when you open a heavy spreadsheet. The integrated Intel HD Graphics 620 is adequate for HD video playback, but if you try to run a modern game at anything beyond low settings, you'll be staring at a frozen screen. Also, because this is a replacement part, you'll need to verify your laptop's exact model number before ordering. Lenovo's part numbers can be thin.